Alrighty, folks, it is time for the first Curators Cube draft here. If you were seeing this, then this is the deck I ended up choosing to run for this month's Curator Cube draft tournament. Part of the way that this tournament works is that it is all asynchronous. Um, we have, I don't believe player 22 EA should be here. I don't know who player, I don't know who some of these people are. So the way that this tournament works, I believe we're supposed to have 6 people in our draft pod. Um, there we go. We've got everybody that should be here, I think. Oh, Provocative's bouncing in and out. There we go. So we're going to be doing a 6-player draft here. The way that this tournament works is that it is all asynchronous. So we're going to be drafting, but the people that we're playing against aren't necessarily going to be in the same pod. And because of that, the schedules were set up with 7 drafts, one over each day at varying time slots throughout the week, with the intention of trying to get everybody to have at least 2 opportunities to draft so they can dive into the environment. Provocative keeps disconnecting. I hope things are okay with Provocative, because that does have me a little worried. Alrighty. Oh, are we doing a bot draft? All right. I was not expecting a bot draft, but we'll work with that. Oh, and Provocative is having some connection issues. I do believe Provocative had mentioned something about playing through mobile, so that might be the source of the problem here. We have an opportunity for a very silly first pick in the first stream here. But we have some very interesting cards here. So essentially, the way that it works is we're going to draft our deck. We're going to have multiple opportunities to draft the decks for this tournament, and if we settle on a particular deck, then the decks from the other drafts basically just get discarded as far as if you participate in multiple drafts. So if you're seeing this, this is the deck that I was most confident in. And this is the deck I'll be playing when we get to actual matches. Some interesting choices we can make here. Stoic Sentinel is a pretty good green card. There aren't actually a lot of mana dorks, and this is one of the better mana dorks in the cube anyhow. So if we wanted to take Stoic Sentinel and kind of push towards green, we could. But if we're pushing towards green, I think I would almost rather take Jade Champion. This is just a far more powerful card. Goes and finds any land, 5-mana 5/5 Trampler. This is just like such a great top end thing. And then it gets to provide double mana potentially. So lots of value to be had from Jade Champion. So if we're looking to go in green, I'd rather take Jade Champion over Stoic Sentinel or Jericho's Assistant. We could take Diabolical Minion and just try and lock out black here and maybe try and get this Coalesced Core on the wheel. Similarly, we could take Oz and Inquirer, try and lock out white. Renegade Apprentice, lock out red. We're kind of very, very restricted on colors here. We also have Wilderkin Behemoth as a multicolor card, Kaineos, Whipchain Warlord, First Dream. I don't think many of these cards are very good. Behemoth in particular, though, is a very scary threat. And while I do think Jade Champion is maybe the better green card to take pick 1 overall, because we have Wilderkin Behemoth in this pack and Kaineos, and even the First Dream, it does make me wonder if Stoic Sentinel could be the correct first pick after all, just because there are so many good things we could ramp to on the wheel. So I think I'm actually going to lean on the Stoic Sentinel. We are holding up the draft just a teensy bit, so do have to move a little bit faster. Crystal Lion technically does jump us up a mana if we can get this down on turn 2. Making a treasure and then being able to cast a 4-drop on turn 3 is pretty good tempo. Something we could look at. We could take the Carcinel, the Crystal Glade. Here, just prioritize fixing and then have a high likelihood of this green-white card coming back around. Lots of lands in the second pack here. Ziv Replis Sparked, also very strong card, but little mana restrictive in terms of getting that into play. With the only green card of the pack being Overwhelming Grizzly, and then Crystal Lion, I think I'm going to take the Carcinel and just not send the signal that green-white fixing is open. That signal's going to get passed one way or another because there are multiple green-white lands in this pack here. So we can take Weaving of the World, just try and play this like green ramp plan. We can take one of these green-white lands. I think... So I could take a green-white land and see if we get the other one on the wheel, but then we probably just give up the Weaving of the World. Waiting for Provocative to come back. Again, I do believe they are on mobile, which could be the source of some issues. I'm going to take the Weaving of the World. I think if we're going to try and play this ramp game with Stoic Sentinel, it's a good thing to hit on turn 4 after a Stoic Sentinel. And we can just kind of make things more reliable from there. Lichbane Forerunner is and Lost Resistor. My goodness, these are both pretty good solid early drops that we can play with ramp tools. Provocative is responding in the Curators Cube chat. Letting us know that they're just having some buffering issues. Lots of blue cards does make me wonder if we could have pushed towards blue. Ancestral Secrets I always feel like is going around super late, but it is just such a good card. I'm torn between the Lichbane Forerunner and the Lost Resistor. These are both good cards to just put a bunch of 3/1s into play. I'm skewing towards the Lost Resistor because if we're playing a ramp plan, both of these are things we can just play as 2 mana 3/1s just to like come up the board a little bit. But and the Forerunner attacks better if we can multitude it and pay the extra mana. But we have to pay that extra mana up front with the Lichbane Forerunner, whereas Lost Resistor we can develop on turn 2 and still pay into later to get more bodies. So while it's a little more more expensive in terms of overall mana investment, I like the Lost Resistor a lot more. Here we have Coalesced Cliff Heroes Never Die, Silversong Ancient. We could take another green duel with a Methrin Waste. I'm going to take the Silversong Ancient. If we're ramping, this is just such a haymaker of a ramp target. Another really good pick here. Coalesced Mesa, General Diadem, Vengeful Ice Mage, or we could even go Titan Stairs. I'm a little hesitant on the Titan Stairs just because I don't want to have too many non-green lands with Silversong Ancient and Weaving of the World in these early picks. I think it could be Diadem. It could be Ice Mage. Both of these are pretty good. Ice Mage is especially solid with Silversong Ancient. If we can just like start flickering this, take out lands, gain a bunch of life, that's just going to put us so beyond our opponent's reach. And if we are ramping, that does put that into a place where that could be feasible. I think Diadem is more likely to come back around on the wheel, so we're going to take the Ice Mage. Buried Colossus is a great sign. Pick 7 Buried Colossus, so people probably aren't picking up these green-white lands, and this is an incredibly stellar duel to have here, especially since Spin Master is not going to be particularly great. Extravagant Patisserie is not going to be particularly great. Dawn Chime, like, this is a fine pack 7 to just not really care what we get later on. And then here, pick 8. I think I'm just going to take the Scrafty Informant. I don't think this is a particularly great card. We could relegate it to the sideboard and just board it in matchups where we feel like we need it. But right now we're kind of on like the solid green-white ramp plan. Carcinel being able to be used as a utility land or mana fixing depending on when we need it. Okay. So someone took up the first dream. Someone took up the... Yeah, we lost out on the first dream. We lost out on... It's going to be Kaineos here. We lost out on the Wilderkin Behemoth, which was probably the more important card to get. That does tell me somebody's on these colors. But I'm going to take this Kaineos. Hopefully that tells people that Kaineos is not available. Oh, God. And yeah, whoever took the Wilderkin Behemoth did take up the... took the Crystal Lion as well, so probably took one of these green-white lands in the next pack. We can probably take Mgara here, maybe pivot towards being an Abzan ramp deck. We can still probably go base green and maybe just start picking more black-green tools moving forward here. Kaineos does still have some utility, some potential. We just need to pick up good enchantments for it. At the very least, right now, Kaineos is finding us Weaving of the World, which is something we do want to find. This is just a nice ramp tool that does pad our life total, which is necessary against more aggressive decks. Oh wow, both of these came back. So opponent, not opponent, whoever is drafting the Naya deck did correctly observe that they might not be fighting other people on this, but they're going to learn real quickly here that they are fighting somebody on green-white. Dormant Clearing or Thriving Tower is a tough call. Thriving Tower does have more immediacy as an untapped land, but Dormant Clearing's untapped always. We do have some ways of padding our life total between the Loss Resistor, uh, the Weaving of the World, the Silversong Ancient. I'm going to take the Dormant Clearing. We're not often going to be cracking this for a draw, but I think we just want lands that are always untapped. And I think Thriving Tower entering tapped after we have 3 other lands is just a little awkward, especially when we have Buried Colossus as a land that's just always going to enter tapped, and Emgara and Carcinel, which could be tapped lands as well, or just untapped colorless sources. Blue and red going around, not too surprised. The red's a little surprising. I'm surprised to see Light Vein Arrow this late. Not too surprised to see Charming Siren, though I do think Siren is good. Not too surprised to see Aether Conductor, though I think that card is pretty solid as well. Not surprised to see Ancestral Secrets. I did say that card's going around a lot, and Tireless Aspirants, also shocking. Aspirants is shocking. The Secrets, I'm not surprised, but I think it should be getting snapped up earlier. I guess this is just kind of a card where like you're almost never fighting anybody for it if you're the blue drafter. I'm going to take this Dormant Moorland. We're kind of already picking up some black cards. Coalesced Cliff, pretty good with our colorless duels. Same with Coalesced Mesa. People disrespecting these fixing. So not a whole lot of playables in this first pack, but we are getting a lot of good mana fixing here. A lot of pain lands as well. The Coalesced and Dormant lands all going to be hurting us, so we do want to be cognizant of that as far as how our deck comes together. I'm going to tentatively put Crafty Informant back in this main deck because we are on 7 non-land cards so far, and that's not a great place to be. Ooh, I'm not even going to put Extravagant Patisserie in the main. Really getting sniped on a lot of picks. Makes me suspect that Chipmunk could be on this plan and just like actively cutting us to our left here. But somebody along this line is fighting us on our colors here. So we're just going to have to find good cards for our colors. Oh, Amaret's going to be such a painful thing to have to pass to the Naya drafter here. But this is also just a really rough pack. Also just occurred to me, we didn't get back the Diadem either. Elvish Visionary, Florina. Florina does get to exile lands from our graveyard and then make tapped token copies of those lands. But that's only really relevant for the dormant lands. We could take Bringer of Heliod's Light. This is a solid utility creature. Findable off of Kaineos. We want more hits for Kaineos anyhow. Yeah, I think that's a safe pick. It's a pretty rough pack for us. Revolutionary class is pretty solid here. Could maybe hope to get back an Ozon Wood Huntsman or Bankbuster Heavy or Dawnglade Cultivator. We'll take the Revolutionary class, though. Just solid draw engine that can still start buffing up our creatures and can eventually be a removal spell. Oh, this is a tough pack. We're taking Survivors of the New World. We're almost always taking Survivors of the New World. It is likely that Agnamakos is not going to come back to us, which is a bummer because I think Agnamakos could do a lot of good work for us. But Survivors of the New World just comes up the board really aggressively. Scratch's Horseman could be nice as well. We could also just take a Suffer Vile Retribution on the wheel. We're going to take Survivors, though. Survivors is just such a good card. Very happy to snap that up here. That tells me that Dasvi and Silver probably aren't in green-white, which is good for us. Miasmic Cove, Evaldi, Boundary Guardian as the picks here. Imperfect Fugisaur, probably not the pick. We could try and wheel this Miasmic Cove. We're probably not taking a land here anyways, so it is between Evaldi and Boundary Guardian. Evaldi does some cool things so far, because we can flip Lost Resistor, then Evaldi pick it back up and start flipping it turn after turn. We can start spamming Blessings with Bringer of Heliod's Light, replay Weaving of the World, replay Survivors of the New World. Yeah, I'm really in on Evaldi. Also just a 3-mana 3/4. And since we can play additional lands on our turns, it picking up a land just kind of means that we're usually going to be fine anyways. Ooh, some tough choices here. We could go Defile the Silver Court. We could go Glyph of Protection. We could go Henry. I honestly don't know if this is a great Henry deck just because we are trying to play some non-creature spells, play some ramp spells. We want to play Weaving, we want to play Revolutionary Class, we want to find those when we can. Defile is findable off of Kaineos. I think the only concern with taking Defile here is we're probably more likely to wheel this than Henry or Glyph. So if we take the Defile, we're probably just not getting anything good back on the wheel here. But that's going to be pick 13. I think I'm okay not getting something super good on pick 13. I think I just want to take Defile of the Silver Court here. And we get some interesting choices again. Data Weaver, Reaper's Call to Harvest, Rooftop Slink, Jack, all pretty solid. Gentle Grasp we could also pretty feasibly cast thanks to Emgara and Carcinel being colorless sources, as well as, Emgara, Carcinel, Buried Colossus, Coalesced Cliff, Coalesced Mesa, Dormant Clearing. 6 of our 7 duels all cast Gentle Grasp right now. That being said, I think I'm skewing towards Data Weaver. If we're going to be on this Black Splash with Emgara and Dormant Moorland, perhaps we could dip into black a little bit more and play this Data Weaver. And, if we're going to be trying to pick things up with Evaldi, Data Weaver is a pretty good card to just replay turn after turn. It applies pressure to the opponent's deck, and it gets to generate some value over time. I'm going to take the Data Weaver. I really like that card. Ooh, tough choices here. Glauna Decadent Demon. Pick 7 Glauna? Black is open. What? That feels wrong. Okay. Smirk, casting our Evil Plan is not impossible. We are a ramp deck. Getting up to 7 mana is not... Or we are looking to develop mana, rather, not necessarily a ramp deck at this point. So that's not beyond the realm of possibility. Canopy Culling also pretty good. Kind of a bummer that whatever we get back from this pack is going to be kind of just the card we're left with, which means we're probably getting this Ascendant Peak because I don't think it's a very good card. I'd love to take the Canopy Culling and the Glauna, but I'm going to take Glauna. I'm going to try and send that signal that black is not available. Oh my god. What a pack that we're just not going to get 2 cards from. Wild Court Seeker, Star-Studded Sagittar, Bacillo, Gates to the Underworld, all solid cards, and I only get 1. I think we're not aggressive enough to reliably get in with Star-Studded Sagittar. We don't have enough things getting stuff back into play with Wild Court Seeker. And also, as far as land types go, only 2 of our duels actually contribute land types. Bacillo is probably the pick. It's a hit off of Kaineos. And it does generate a lot of stats over time. It's going to be Bacillo, yeah. All right, Florina came back. We're just going to pick up her. Ozonwood Huntsman came back. We're going to pick that up. Alcadia came back. I'm fine taking Alcadia. Miasmic Core, I was correct, did come back, as did the Imperfect Fugisaur. Afterlife Augur could be interesting. We're going to take the Cove. Yeah, these are both bad for us. We're going to take the Embrace the Unnatural. Dormant Copes versus Demon of Darker Paths. We're going to take the Demon, just put it in the board here. But yeah, the deck starting to come together pretty nicely. We probably do want more black fixing if we're going to play this Glauna, but Glauna is just so good. A little surprised by how few non-creatures we have as well. So just about done here on this second pack. Starting to really shape up pretty nicely. Evaldi does some good things. Scrapyard Mecha. Yeah, I was wrong about what we would get back. It was not Ascendant Peak. A little surprised it wasn't Ascendant Peak, but not too surprised that it was something we just would not be able to put to use. Okay, that is the signal to end all signals. I would love to take this Protoplasmera. We're not going to be able to ever wheel this Tenacious Snapvines, and if we're going to be in on the 3-color plan, then Snapvines needs to be the pick here. This is just one of the most irritating creatures that's ever existed in Revolution, and if we're looking to be a big mana deck, then we want the Snap Vines for sure. Things we could wheel from this pack, the Ominous Slaughter would be nice for sure. Ooh, hello. Shifting Layer versus Explorer is an interesting prospect. I feel like Shifting Layer is likely to get snapped up here in pack 3. I feel like I rate the Karuz a little higher than most. God, especially with Canopy Culling having gone in an earlier pick alongside the Dawnglade, the 1-mana 1/1 that puts a land into play. The Shifting Layer is probably going to get snapped up, but the Explorer probably will too, and I feel like we are probably more in on that, because that is just another way to get up to our 4 drops on turn 3. Would not mind a Brawlot on the wheel, but that's probably going to get snapped up, same as the Banish to the Ice. We could just take the Banish, get another hard removal spell alongside Clowna. What do I value most? I think, especially since we're in black, we'll have opportunities to get hard removal. I just need to take the thing that's best for us now. Primal Genesis and Symbol of the Revolution are both tempting. Symbol, just a good mana sink. Primal Genesis, good value, good stabilization. I'm going to take the Symbol, I think. I think having this solid early game card we can develop. Okay. Choices to make here. We can take Redeploy, we can take Gloomcover Step, we can take Heart of the Glade, we could take Field Test or Unite the Clans, or Vibrant Vengeance. God, what a pack. Ooh, my goodness. What do I think could wheel in this pack? Field Test is a possibility, but we're not getting these fixing lands back. Vibrant Vengeance is just such a sweet card. Yeah, let's take Vibrant Vengeance, I think. Am I in on that? Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3 black sources among the non-basics we've taken, which would be an argument in favor of taking Gloomcover Step. Though it is a non-green source, so awkward with Weaving of the World. I really want to get this Field Test back. We're taking Vibrant Vengeance. I'm in on Vibrant Vengeance for sure here. Yeah, Evelyn Snakewood's pretty great here. We could take Scout Ahead to go along with our Explorer. It even does some like pick up our creature stuff similar to Evaldi. So we could pick up Data Weaver or Survivors of the New World or Bringer of Heliod's Light. But I think we just want the ramp now. So Evelyn Snakewood's going to be the pick here. Ooh. So, legendary creatures we have for Love of a Lifetime are Bacillo, Evaldi, Kaineos, Alcadia, and Florina. Those are all relevant because this does tutor for one of our legendary creatures. Alcadia, probably not super worth tutoring, but Kaineos does some good work. Evaldi does some good work. Bacillo does as well, as does Florina. However, Drift Off is hard removal that gets better as we develop more mana. And I feel like I wanted that hard removal that gets better as we develop more mana. Love of a Lifetime might even wheel. And Darley the Fierce versus Renowned Rough Rider versus Oroshi's Devotee, Korgan Bourgeoisie. I kind of like the Devotee versus the Rough Rider. These are both kind of similar tools in terms of just picking up and developing things. We could also take the Dormant Temple, take our 3rd Dormant land, get another black source. We are at enough playables. So that is something to keep in mind. So I think we could go down the crafting format at this point, and then we're just kind of looking at like what will we cut for each of these. Rough Rider is awkward on our mana. It is more restrictive, whereas Oroshi's Devotee, pretty solid body and picks up our creatures, lets us pick up our mana dorks, which essentially get to pay for 3 because they discount this by 2, and then we can tap the dork to pay for another 1. So like if we have Stoic Sentinel, Evelyn Snakewood, and 1 untapped land, that does pay for Oroshi's Devotee. This is hard. And Darley's also just so good. We're going to take Endarley. I talked up a lot of the other cards, but Endarli is just very strong. Rulha the Aberrant is very good. Ancient Stirrings versus Binding. We'll take Binding Whisper here, I think. We could take All Is Dust, very solid board wipe to have access to. Surprised to see Luxurious Estate come back. Oh my god, and we got Gloomcover Step versus Heart of the Glade. Oof. Especially with Rulha and Silversong Ancient, you know, these multiple like heavy green investments. I feel like we want the Heart of the Glade here. We'll take Onglade. We'll take Smiling Sludge. All right, this is bringing us to the end of the draft here. I think the mana is going to be really tricky here, but this could do some really interesting, exciting things. So, I'm optimistic. Probably not playing Binding Whisper. Probably not playing Florina at this point. Probably not playing the Ozon Wood Huntsman. So that puts us to 16 creatures, 7 non-creature spells, and 10. Oh my god, 11. The Dormant Temple came back. 11. 11 non-basic lands. My goodness. That's a pretty clean draft here. All right. So that brings us to the end of the first Curator Cube draft. So again, if you are seeing this video, this is the deck I decided to go in on for competing with. So if you're seeing this video, you'll see this deck again in action as we get into matches for the tournament. Otherwise, though, definitely look forward to trying out the other drafts to see if I can't come up with something that looks better than this deck. That being said, I'm definitely going to be playtesting all of my decks just to feel out which one is the most promising, because the last thing I want to do is go into this tournament and just conclude that one deck is going to be just far and away the best. This deck could do a lot of cool work, a lot of really powerful things. This deck could also just completely flounder. We're a 3-color deck, you know, with a lot of fixing, but we are a 3-color deck, and that does have its problems. So we'll see how things pan out. So, all of that said, I look forward to trying this deck out in the tournament if this is the one I end up playing. And again, if you're seeing this, this is the deck I settled on, so you can just buckle up for more of this deck in action. And if you're not seeing this, then I don't need to be saying all of this. Had a lot of fun with this, and can't wait to get into the games. See y'all in the Revolution chat in the meantime, though.